We are delighted you chose to be with us tonight. We want you to have a safe and wonderful experience. Please be assured that your safety as well as your enjoyment of the event are our utmost concern. Please take a moment, look around, and identify the nearest two exits. Whether in a virtual setting at your home or physically in some form of venue, you must always be ready. So please identify two exits in your current location in the event it is necessary to evacuate quickly and orderly. Also, during this COVID 19 pandemic, please remember to wear your mask, wash your hands, and always stand 6 feet apart from others. Please enjoy the event and continue to be safe.
Greetings and welcome to day 5 of the Coalition Staten Island Black led community based organization Candidates Forum Week. My name is Jasi Robinson, and I'm the co chair of the Legislative Committee of the National Council of Negro Women. I will be discussing the 5 ballot proposals that will appear on the general election ballot. But before I start discussing the 5 ballot proposals, I want to take a moment to highlight the coalition members and thank each of them for their partnership on this important and historic effort. Besides NCNW, the Staten Island section, we have the African Community Alliance of Staten Island, the Central Family Life Center, Empowerment Zone Inc., Fatherhood Matters, Harriet Tubman Purple Hat Society, Hidden Pearls of Staten Island, Alpha Kappa Alpha Inc., Lambda Kappa Mu Sorority Inc., Lambda Chapter, the Staten Island Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Beta Sorority Inc., the Staten Island Black Heritage, the Staten Island Branch NCN, the NAACP, the Central Family Life Center, and the Staten Island Liberian Community Association. Thank you all of the members of these organizations who have joined us tonight. Early voting starts this coming Saturday, and your vote matters. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. And remember, if you don't vote, you don't count. Now I will discuss the 5 ballot proposals that you will see on your general election ballot. Proposal number 1 will be discussing the redistricting proposal. Proposal 1 is on redistricting. I highlighted the main points. 1 is to change the vote total needed to adopt redistricting plans must be submitted to the legislator. Key point, second point, cap the total number of state senators at 63. Point 4, move up the timeline by 2 weeks for when redistricting plans must be submitted to the legislator. Point 4, require that incarcerated people be counted at the address where they live before going to jail or prison for the purpose of redistricting, not where they're being detained. All of the proposals are very important, and we need to vote on these proposals. We cannot bypass them because these proposals will be adopted into the New York State Constitution. Why I think that it's important that we don't pass over proposal number 1 is because that when it comes down to our incarcerated brothers and sisters, they are not being fairly accounted for. They're being counted in where they're being incarcerated and not where they used to live, where they reside. So, for example, if someone lived in Staten Island and they move and they are detained in upstate, then they will be counted as an upstate resident, not as a Staten Island resident. And we have seen in the recent census count that the Black population did see a decrease, which was not a fair nor accurate count of our population. Also, Black the Black community makes up 14% of the population, but we make up 42% of the prison population. So it is very key and very crucial that we make sure that we are being accurately accounted where we reside and not where we are being detained. So again, please do not bypass these proposals, especially number one. And also two, it is very key and crucial now that we see that there is the redistricting process going on. Right now, the Independent Redistricting Commission is now, they have their proposals, which has to be voted on. And we need to ensure that this is passed, because if not, then what we're going to encounter is that when it comes down to 2022, we're going to see candidates who want to run for office in 2022 be denied because of the plans, because when it's time for them to petition, petitioning starts late February, early March. And if it's not passed, then we're going to see candidates run into conflict because the new plans will be submitted and approved around the same time. So that's why it has to be moved up to January the 15th to ensure that that everyone has a fair chance to run who wants to run in 2022. Now I will discuss proposal number two, which will talk about the environment. The main points of the proposal number two is this: each person shall have a right to clean air and water in a healthy environment. This new bold right will be added to the New York State Constitution. Second point, the proposal will push legislators and government officials to ensure that the environment is a top priority. Lastly, advocates are in favor of the amendment because they believe it will create a mechanism for combating environmental racism, rebalancing the inequities communities of color and low-income communities face from disproportionate exposure to pollution and other environmental harming practices. And the reason why this is so important is because that for so long we have seen, especially in the Black and Brown communities and low income and marginalized communities, we have seen the effects of environmental harm, even in Staten Island, where you see in mostly Black and Brown communities, you see the high rate of asthma and respiratory illnesses. So being that this proposal, this bold proposal, will be in the New York State Constitution speaks volumes, because now environmental justice will be taken as a top priority. And now the people, communities, will have access to the courts. Now we'll be able to have successful lawsuits, whereas before, if we weren't so successful, where we weren't able to get the paperwork, the necessary documentations, and necessary to sue corporations for violating our communities. So proposal number two, please do not bypass this, especially if you are an environmental justice warrior or just someone that cares about their communities. We cannot afford to have environmental issues be ignored any longer. And now we will talk about proposal number three, which is very important, and this cannot be bypassed as well: eliminating the 10-day advance voter registration requirement. I will break down the points as you see it. More voters will be enfranchised by shortening or eliminating the deadline to register to vote. Second point, on election day, voter rolls can be updated and corrected, allowing eligible voters who have moved or have been removed in error from the official rolls to update their registration records. Same-day registration can increase voter turnout and participation by ensuring all eligible voters can cast their votes. This proposal will allow the legislature to implement same-day voter registration. 20 states currently allow for same-day registration. So it's we cannot bypass this proposal at all. One, this will ensure and this will increase voter turnout. We have seen that during the pandemic. So now we will see more people, if this passes, we will see more people eligible to vote. Speaking for someone that used to be a coordinator at the Board of Elections, you're looking at the voter rolls when voters come to vote and they notice that their name was not on the ballot, and we have to give them an affidavit ballot or let them know that that their name is not in the voter rolls, but we don't turn anybody away. So this now will allow them to vote same day. We will also be able to um, allow people to vote the same day, to cut out a lot of the mishaps that we've seen, when people try to vote. So that it will eliminate all of that so that people can vote and be encouraged to vote, and there won't be any roadblocks, because people get easily discouraged when it's time to vote, especially the Black community. We wait online where we're told we're not in the book, knowing that we voted. Here now, we can vote, we can do everything the same day, and we can correct whatever mistakes is in the book, in the voter rolls, and we can vote. So this is why we cannot bypass this crucial proposal. Now we will discuss proposal number 4, which is authorizing no excuse absentee ballot voting. Here are the main points for this proposal. Voters can request for an absentee ballot without providing a reason. This measure will increase voter participation, especially for late voters or undecided voters. Another point, any voter would have the ability to request an absentee ballot for a primary and or general election, thereby increasing voter access to elections. Lastly, this proposal has the potential to take off pressure of poll sites by reducing the number of in-person voters. We are in a new normal, folks. We are in COVID time. And it's very important that we are able to vote in a safe way, and that protects us and the poll workers. We need to make sure that which we always talk about, especially in grassroots organizations, in civic groups, about access. This will give us access. So if you want an absentee ballot, normally we had to put a reason. Most recently, when we were at the height of COVID, everyone who wanted to was able to get an absentee ballot, and it was marked with a reason. Now, at this point, we were able to get absentee ballots without providing an excuse. You don't need an excuse. You can just get an absentee ballot and you can vote without providing a reason. And again, we have to increase our participation, and we need to increase our engagement, because right now our engagement when it comes down to certain elections is abysmal, but we do need to increase that. And if we take away the barriers and obstacles from preventing people to vote, more people will be more engaged to vote, come out to vote, and become more civically engaged. The last proposal that you will see on your ballot is increasing the jurisdiction of the New York City civil courts. Here are the main points. In 1983, the Constitution was amended to raise the jurisdictional limit of the New York City civil courts from claims from $10,000 to $25,000, where it has remained. This was done to adjust for inflation and help lift a burden off backlog New York State courts. Second point, this proposal will raise the jurisdictional limit of New York City civil court to $5,000. Last point, this proposal will reduce backlogs and delay by relieving some of the burden placed on the New York City courts judges who hear civil cases with claims above $25,000. This proposal, again, should not be bypassed as well. One, we want to we emphasize all of the Black-led coalitions and partners on this. We always emphasize access, resources, and information. And it's important that we have this proposal passed because one, it will ensure that the courts are run in a more smoother and more timely fashion. If it's pushed over, if it's transferred over to and to civil court, and we will see court cases being heard in a more quicker fashion, and also to civil court tends to be more pro se friendly. So basically, pro se would be anyone who doesn't have a lawyer wants to represent themselves, then that's what it means to be pro se. And so the civil courts tend to be a little bit more easier for people to navigate through. So that's why it's very key and very crucial that courts are not backlogged, especially now during the pandemic. Now we see a backlog in state Supreme Court cases. If it's transfer over, then it'll be easier for everyone all around, the courts, the litigants, and people who want to pursue legal action. So again, we cannot bypass this as well. We talk about access, we talk about resource, we talk about information. This is very important that this proposal is not bypassed as well. Also, I wanted to leave some very important information. So as you can see on the screen, we have early voting and voting critical dates. So polls are open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. on November 2nd, which is Election Day. But more importantly, we have early voting, which starts October 23rd until October 31st. If you notice, also on the screen here, the time and the dates vary. You have October 23rd and the 24th, it's from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday, it's from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Tuesday, it's from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. And Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday, it is from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. And October 30th is 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. But on October 31st, it's from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. So please go out and vote. Early voting starts tomorrow, and we need people to come out and to vote and to be engaged and to especially vote for everything on the ballot, especially the 5 ballot proposals. These 5 ballot proposals will be on the ballot, and more importantly, if this passes, it will be in our New York State Constitution. We talk about equity, we talk about fairness, and we talk about access. These 5 ballot proposals encompass and embody everything that this coalition is stressing and emphasizing. Now that you have seen the date and the time for early voting, if you choose to vote early, here are the early voting poll sites. We have the Gerard Carter Center. We have Calvary Presbyterian Church, Fort Richmond High School. Fort Richmond High School, I'm a Raider. Holy Family, Our Lady of Help of Christian, Church of the Holy Child, PS8, the Staten Island Tech High School, Our Lady of Pity, and Ocean Breeze Athletic Complex. Again, you have the time and the dates, and now you also have the locations. So as the main purpose, the main goal of this coalition is to stress access, information, and resources. So we provided, and we also have additional links and websites of if you need to register to vote, where to vote, voters with disabilities, if English is not your first language, or if you know of someone whose language is their first language is not English. We also have um, the link for the sample ballots, and we also have from the League of Women Voters of New York State, we also have a voter guide that will give a much more detailed information regarding the 5 ballot proposals. So again, here are the information, the additional links for everyone to access and to utilize. Again, we gave you the information, and as we've been stressing, if you do not vote, you do not count. All right, everyone, you have the information, you have everything that you need to go out to vote, especially if you want to do early voting. So I'm saying this as your newly elected female district leader of the Assembly District 61st, and also as a member of the National Council of Negro Women. I need you to go out there to vote. I need you to go out there to show up and show out, because now is not the time for us to stay home. We've given you, this coalition has put their heart, their body, their souls into creating this informative platform for everyone. And so we need you to come out and vote. And I'm going to be making sure, because as a district leader, I have to make my rounds, and I'm going to be making sure that you go out and vote. And I hope to see you at the polls, because as we've been saying, if you do not vote, you do not count. So come out, show out. I want to see you there. I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be making sure that you come out and vote, everyone. Thank you.